when we were told that she's coming 27 weeks, I just shut down. And we got a text saying her birth is going to be put out. We were kind of forced into announcing her birth. We weren't ready because we didn't know what would happen with her.
What's the most surprising thing that you enjoy about this stage of your life that maybe you wouldn't have seen 5 years ago, or maybe wouldn't have noticed 5 years ago, but you've kind of discovered as where you are right now, of what's bringing you joy, what's, lighting up your life?
My daughter. And also, I think I've found a sense of peace. I ran really fast for a really long time, and it was all I knew. I was dropped into a business at a very young age that I had no idea about. Nobody in my family had any idea about. It started with pageants and then Bollywood movies and then Hollywood. But I think in all of that, it's so uncertain, right? Our jobs, it's gig to gig. So when I first started, it was just like about, you have to keep moving and what's the next thing? And it was sort of like this weird training that I didn't know how to unlearn. And I didn't know that there was any other way of being.
Mm.
And over the last few years, and I don't know if it's the influence of my husband, moving countries, working at a different pace, becoming a parent, maybe it's a confluence of all of them, but I feel at a sense of peace with what I've been able to achieve and what I may or may not achieve.
Mm.
Like initially I'm still a perfectionist, but I think I was greedier when it came to ambition. Now I think I prioritize time with family, being at home, nesting. Like right now, we've just moved back to our house in LA. So unpacking, packing, putting stuff together, editing out, Malti's closet. She's 4. I have stuff in there from when she was 2. Nick's stuff. It's so fun to go into, like, my mother-in-law taught me this, but seasonal, to bring out like everything that's seasonal in your pantry and like make sure that the plates are right. And it was never something I would have enjoyed doing even like 7 years ago or 8 years ago. It's a shift in just my whole being, and I'm still coming to terms with it and familiarizing myself with it. But I'm allowing myself the time to kind of be in it. I would have, berated myself earlier, made myself feel guilty for taking a day off. I really romanticize not taking time off. So it's like a complete 360, which is I'm coming to terms with it myself.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it feels like you're the expert of knowing when to shift speed. Because when you think about the way you dominated Bollywood and the success you had there, coming over to Hollywood at peak success, when you're already winning, and then you go, oh no, I want another gear. So you come over winning here, and then now, as you're saying, winning here, and then going, oh no, now I want a different gear. And it almost feels, would you say it's just time and age, or is there something else that allowed you to be at peace, as you said? Because peace is I think we often think when we're young that pleasure and joy and enjoyment and happiness are the goal. And then as you get older, you realize peace was actually always...
It's having time to waste. What a luxury. Not spend, because it's a currency, time, I feel like, with your family, with people you love, or on the job. I love being on set. It's one of my favorite places in the world. But it's when you can just sit and not be answerable to anything. And I take that privilege also very seriously. I know this has not been handed to me. I've worked really hard to be where I am. So I'm allowing myself that time. Our daughter started in a new school. I love being able to pick her up from there, hear her stories, and like be around. And, maybe it's just time, age, space where I am at the moment. I'm not sure. But I think that every other pivot of mine didn't feel like it was something I controlled.
Interesting.
I felt pushed into it. This is the first time I feel like I'm allowing myself to not push myself so hard and see what happens.
Mm.
I used to always feel like, the sky will fall if I stop working one day.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are wired that way. I think especially from India and Asia, we have this work ethic, which our parents probably, because they had to, in order to survive and to make it in an ever-changing world, and their generation, they had to go really hard. So I think our generation grew up thinking that that was the way to be, but I think I've learned to look inwards a little bit, and that's okay, and allowing myself that. Yeah, but the other pivots, I just did the best I could.
But I love that agency and that control. And you're right, the same, we were just talking about it off camera a second ago, this idea of, I was sharing that, my mom would drop me to school, work during the day, pick me up, then she'd go back out to work in the evenings. And often I'd just go with her and fall asleep by her leg while she was in an appointment or a meeting. And I just got to see how hard my mom worked. And that, of course, has lots of benefits, as you said, in terms of building discipline, hardworking mentality. And then at the same time, it comes a point where maybe you have to, when you get the privilege or the opportunity to peel back from it, to be able to shift.
Yeah, and it's such a privilege. Like, you have to work hard to survive in this life. And people work really, really hard. And some people, work in jobs that, you might not want or be in, but you have to survive. So I take that privilege of this, and it's just this year, honestly.
Yeah, it's the first time in your life.
First time I'm actually doing it, where I, want to take that moment to kind of indulge in my family. And I think, sometimes hard working limits your mind itself to finding that balance. And, but if you can find that balance, that's the dream.
Yeah. Are you, Nick was here just literally like 2-3 weeks ago.
It was the best interview.
Oh, wow.
It was the best interview.
You don't have to say that.
No, I don't have to say it.
You don't have to say that.
I had so many people who called me about it, and just hearing it, both of you, I mean, it's who you are, but it's also my husband is
he's amazing.
Just so sincere and honest, and it's like disarming. And to see that on camera, it was a wonderful interview.
I was going to ask you, did you debrief? Do you both talk about when you get back from these?
Not when we get back, when the clips come out. Like, when you get back home, you're like, let's watch a movie. Talked about myself all day. Can't do that anymore. So I don't think we got into it. Like, I had no idea about what you guys spoke about. But when the clips come out and I'm seeing it, then of course we talk about it.
No, my favorite thing is to be sitting opposite someone who's that sincere, because it just allows for this really genuine dialogue to come out. And I'm glad that you got a chance to see it. I'm glad that I got to be with him.
It's not easy to be that.
No, it isn't.
And especially in our profession, like, I mean, you do it differently, but when it's a public facing profession, you get media trained. You can't help it.
Yeah.
Like, when you do it for long enough, you know how to navigate different questions, how to deflect from what you don't want to answer. And I have an added layer of it because I have a pageant background, so that I can really deflect.
Oh, wow.
So it's, for me, it has always been really, really tough to reach that deep part of myself when I'm on camera. I find it uncomfortable. But it was very inspiring to watch that interview and see Nick do it. I mean, that's the most inspiring thing about my husband for me, and which is why, I give a lot of credit to being married to him, to have been able to find this ease and comfort as I navigate life. Like, even the tough things are kind of easier to handle because he's with me.
Wow.
And it's so different than what life was like 10 years ago. And so I think that, it's being able to see him do that has helped me also get in touch with my feelings a little bit more and articulate them. Like, both of those things are mutually exclusive for me, were mutually exclusive for me. But now I feel them and I can talk about it. And that was a big step.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, both of you talk so beautifully about your daughter, and I was wondering, are you the strict one? Are you the chill one? Are you the fun one? Like, as a parent, like, what is your go-to? If Nick's the sincere one, and what's your?
Yeah, I'm the mom. I have to set down the rules. Like that.
You're like, I'm doing all the hard work here. Like,
no, we both do that. We both, like, the good thing about our parenting, and we kind of fell into this beautifully as a rhythm together, was we always talk about how we will navigate a situation. And we are always on the same page when it comes to her. So there's never a decision that I will say something and he will say something else, or we're not on the same page about it. And we just kind of naturally fell into that. But yes, I'm usually a little bit more setting down the rules, and you have to finish eating, and you have to sleep at this time. We have to wake up for school. Like, yeah.
Yeah. One person has to do it.
I make her schedule.
Yeah. One person has to do it. One person has to do it. Someone has to take the responsibility.
Take the hit.
Yeah. I love what you were saying though, like just about being open and honest in conversation and in the public eye, and how hard that is. Especially now in a world where we do live in a world full of clips, like where everyone's judging you off what you said in 20 seconds without the context of even the fact. And that's why I think podcasting has been so revolutionary and helpful in that space, is someone can actually listen to someone for an hour, 2 hours, and actually make sense of what they're saying, rather than, oh, I saw this 30-second clip of a 3-minute interview on a TV show, and now this is my version of who you are. Or I think you're the character you play in your movies. I don't really know who you are. So I wonder, why is it important for you to be yourself fully now on an interview or on a show? Like, why are you even trying to do that? Why is that even meaningful to you? What would that provide for you right now?
I don't know if I can. I'm trying it out with you.
You're trying it out with me.
You're my guinea pig.
I love it. Oh, great. This is the experiment. Amazing. I love it.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if you'll be able to get past that.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's the opposite. I think I have come to a place in my life where I'm more in touch with my own feelings.
Yes, okay.
Hence being able to be confident enough to talk about real things versus deflecting it into, what I want you to kind of think. And so now I'm like, I'll try it with Jay. Perfect.
Thank you for trusting me.
Comfortable seat, trustworthy man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's very kind. No, it's but it's real. It's such a real thing you're talking about. It's not easy to do that, and I think you're so right about when you're still trying to figure yourself out. And sometimes when you're in the change, it's like everyone wants to know everything about you, but it's like you're so in transition that you're like, I have nothing to share. I feel like that between when I'm writing books. So like when I have a book, I have lots to talk about because I've just spent 2-3 years studying this theme and looking at the science and the research and the wisdom and all this stuff. And then people invite me on interviews in between. I'm like, guys, I've got nothing to say because I'm working on new ideas. I'm building new ideas, and I don't want to just say what I said before. I will give you credit though. I think you're being a little bit hard on yourself, because I remember the last time I interviewed you, the way you spoke about your parents and what you've learned from them and just how much impact they've had on you, that not only is extremely genuine, it resonates really strongly. And I know it resonated with our audience. Like that interview we did 5 years ago has like 3 million views.
Wow.
And it's like people got so much from it. So I think you are being a bit hard on yourself. And I just want to let you off the hook a little bit, because would you say that's been a trait of yours as well, as part of your, that ambition, that drive? Have you had to be hard on yourself through this?
My therapist thinks so.
Oh, really? What does your therapist say, Priyanka? That's what I want to know. What is the therapy assessment?
Yeah. That's apparently a character trait of mine, that I'm very hard on myself. I didn't know that. I've recently, I'm really turning the lens on myself a little bit in the last few years, where I'm kind of trying to get to know this new me. There are things that I do and say where I'm like, wow, this would not have been my reaction.
Wow.
6 years ago. Patience, I was not patient. I mean, I'm still I move very fast. I make quick decisions. I try to be I'm always 5 seconds ahead when it comes to work. But I think having a toddler will teach you patience, that it's never in your control.
I think that's sometimes I think about it, I'm like, I know that the biggest personal growth I'll ever have is having a kid.
Absolutely. You
And
have no
there's
control.
you think, I'm always like, you think you've done all the self-work, and then you'll have a child, Jay, and you'll know exactly
You
how
will
far you
have
are.
no idea in the directions your personality will change.
Yeah.
You cannot predict it.
Yeah.
It depends on who your kid is and who they turn into. And it just, you become metamorphosized into this other person.
Mm.
And in every aspect, priorities suddenly change. And everyone had told me that before, but when you're living it, it's really wild.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to get to know this new me,
Mm-hmm.
who's completely different from even the one you probably spoke about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that was before I became a parent, and so it'll be fun to get to know her.
Yeah. What have you discovered so far that's been the most surprising to you, or something that you're like, oh, I didn't know that was there? Like, what was something that you came across recently that stood out to you about yourself that you've been finding, discovering, searching?
I'm much more patient with things when they don't work out.
Mm.
I would, like I said, or you said, observed, was very hard on myself when something wouldn't work out. Or I would, like just be mad, and my approach to like figuring out why it didn't go the way I needed it to go, like the control that I needed to have. Like I feel like it's okay to not have that. And that's a huge change in me because it's affected every aspect of my life, how I interact with human beings, how I approach work that I take on, definitely how I parent, even how I am at home. It's made me self-sufficient. It's made me rely on myself a little bit more. It's like created a sense of confidence, which, again, this is something that I have preached. I know my mind knows, but I was never able to implement to myself, which was, when you're holding on to something really, really tight, you're exhausting your muscles.
So
It's
well said.
so tiring. And that's people who like to control things, and, like alpha personalities, or like it has to go my way. And maybe that was how I achieved what I did, and my ambition showed itself in, being a control freak, almost like holding on really tight. But that's something I've really consciously and subconsciously worked on. As soon as I recognized the ease of letting the universe kind of push you in the direction you're meant to go, and then within that, of course, work hard every day to, achieve your goals through the day. But it's okay if once in a while it doesn't turn out to be the way you thought it should be, because you might end up with what you need instead of what you wanted, which
well
is
said,
even more important.
Yeah, there's a beautiful Zen teaching that says, letting go is hard, but holding on is harder.
Definitely.
And it's exactly what you just described. Like
It's just
when you're trying to
so-
hold on to this rope and it's tight and the grip,
It's
and
exhausting.
it's so much more exactly. It's exhausting. It's painful. You'll end up with scars from it. But you just pointed out. Do you think that it's almost like it's such a catch-22, because it's like, do you think you'd be this successful if you hadn't had that?
No,
Right. So
I don't think so. And I look at my 20-year-old self and I applaud her for surviving and doing whatever I needed to. Flying all over the world, wanting to achieve everything, having the personality trait of being someone who just wanted everything and not be apologetic for it. Like my younger self was not apologetic for wanting a piece of everything, wanting a legacy, wanting to leave behind something, and I really had to separate myself and like look at her. And in fact, when I was writing my memoir, it was a really critical experience for me, which helped me kind of navigate a lot of these things, like because I was talking to my friends and family and trying to corroborate my own memories, because memory is a funny thing.
Absolutely.
What I might remember may be just my perspective, and perception is definitely not reality. And I used to believe 100% that perception is reality. What you become is what people believe. And like as time has gone by, I was just like, man, that girl really had to believe what she had to believe to get to the other side.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And, I see a bravado, which I admire today. I maybe don't have it anymore. I'm a little bit more sensible, a little bit more level-headed, maybe.
Still as funny though. Still as funny.
Still as funny.
Yeah.
The comedy is important.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets you through stuff. But, like it's okay. I think I needed to be, and as we grow older, I think for all of us, at whatever age in life you're in, but to be able to forgive yourself for how you were when you were young, or, we all hold on to so many burdens of our past and are so hard on ourselves because of those things. And just, I think focusing on the future and the present is just a way of kind of letting go of that control.
Yeah, I really appreciate that perspective, because I feel like so many of us as humans, when we discover a new way of living, we almost disregard, shun exactly the past way of being. And so we're like, oh, now I've figured out life. Like, now I'm at peace. And it's almost like, wait a minute, you're forgetting the part that kid at 20 years old, as yourself you're talking about, needed to have that bravado, that holding on tight, that ambition, that drive to get here. And I love what you're saying, because I think that's really the work that we're all trying to do, is accept that all these versions of us were just trying the best with what they know.
Yeah.
And now that we know better, we can do differently and do better. But that it's not a judgment or a shunning of that version of ourselves.
And as we grow in life, we're going to keep changing. Like 100%. Evolution
hopefully,
is... hopefully.
Yeah.
And even if we don't, that's fine. That's your individual journey, but like Nick's new song, it was so profound to me, Gut Punch, because that's what it really talks about, is when did I get so good at being mean to myself, right? And we all do. And if when you catch yourself on the couple of things which actually helped me. One, is this a constructive thought? So when I'm going down the rabbit hole of anything, stress, fear, anxiety, anything, is it a constructive thought? Will it get me somewhere? And if it's not meant to be in your head. And the second thing, which has really helped me, is thoughts are not facts. So when you're spiraling about something, or anxious about something, or berating yourself for having done something wrong, you have to kind of come back to the facts. Like, what are the facts that I know? And then it just takes away the power. Those are tools that have really, I think, helped me in this new phase.
I love those
Zen
tools.
phase.
Yeah, I love those tools. Yeah, especially that second one, because I feel like the mind is not a truth seeker, it's a storyteller.
Absolutely.
And so it will make up a story and it will create it and it will print
we believe it.
Yeah, and we'll plaster it. It's the biggest fake news in the world is the mind doing its thing. And like, you just start to believe whatever news story it tells you.
And especially if we don't talk about it, which most of us are trained to not do, right? Like, we've got to be tough. We've got to, like, at least when I was growing up, there was no importance to therapy or constructive conversation, even within family. It was like, you're stronger than that. You don't have to feel that way. Like, almost dismissive of actual feelings. And not just by parents, that was just the culture
in society,
of how it was. And I feel like that's a wonderful thing, that we've come to a place where we can actually talk about our feelings. But, the more you keep it in, the more you're not allowed to talk about how you're feeling, which is totally different than how you should be behaving or what you should be doing in a situation. Completely different thing. How you're feeling is so crucial to acknowledge. And then it's easier to kind of move on. But the initial validation you need is, I am upset about something and it's okay. Whatever that might stem from. I might be feeling jealous. I might feel like angry that this didn't happen for me, or whatever it was. But it's okay to acknowledge that feeling. And I find it really beneficial to talk to, like, my best friend or my husband or someone. This is also a Nick Jonas learning, actually.
Go on.
Oh, man.
Go on.
I just realized early into our marriage, we had, argument that everyone does when you're just getting to know each other and newly married. And we had an argument, and being the person that I am, I'm the storm in Nick's teacup. That's how we are. Or at least we were. I don't know. We're evolving.
Okay.
But I was like, well, we need to approach it this way. And, this is how it'll get better, and solutions and solutions. And he was like, well, we need to talk about how we're feeling. And those were completely two different things. And I didn't know how to do that, or like the fact that I needed to do that. And he was like, let's talk about how I'm feeling, how you're feeling, and then we'll be able to move on to a solution, which was so mind-blowing to me at that time, and profound, honestly. And it just changed the direction of the conversation. It's so healthy to be able to acknowledge, this made me feel this way.
Yeah.
And the same honest truth. So then you're like, oh my gosh, if something I said made someone feel a certain way, how do I feel about doing that to a loved one? If a certain behavior from me or a certain behavior from you just makes me feel not nice, will you keep doing it again? Knowing that? So it was such a big learning for both of us. And, we've never gone back to the storm in the teacup.
Radhi and I have been together for 13 years now. It's our 10-year wedding anniversary this year.
Oh, congrats, you guys.
It's
decade.
Super exciting. And at the same time, my point is, of course, we still have stupid arguments all the time. We've just built tools and techniques over the years that have worked for us, and everything that's, that everyone's dealing with. What gave you, because I find this to be one of the biggest things, at least for me and Radhi, that I think has been beneficial. What gave you the humility to be able to learn that from Nick, right? Because I think in a lot of relationships, it's kind of like, well, you want to do it that way, but this is the way I do it. So like you're saying, hey, I want to talk about solutions.
I was like that.
Right.
So it happened for a few times, and we argued, where I was like, this is who I am, and this is what I know.
And it's worked for me.
And it has worked for me.
Yeah.
But I think I heard him maybe for the first time. And I don't know what, maybe I wasn't hearing him. I was focused so much on what I was feeling that I couldn't listen to what he was feeling. And over time, maybe, my husband is, and I've said this so many times, the most sincere, honest person, and that just disarms you. So when he looks at you with those eyes and says, let's talk about how we're feeling, we're going to talk about how we're feeling.
Yeah, he has that deep presence.
He just the room calms down, and he just takes you in the direction that he wants to. And that's the first thing actually that drew me to Nick when we first met, is he has this quiet confidence which makes him like a natural leader. You kind of want to listen to him and hear him out and know that, he has thought about things, and he's not impulsive, and he's decisive. But it's just this quiet confidence. It doesn't need, to be put on display. And that was just beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, that takes a lot from you to notice that as well, because sometimes I think quiet confidence is missed.
Yes.
Because it's quiet, as in it doesn't have that flashy, it doesn't look like leadership in the old way it's been propagated across the world. And then it's easy to miss. So it's also credit to you to be able to, at the time, to be able to notice that and see the value of it. I felt the value of it when I've been around him and had conversations with him. And
it's always been something it's been something I have seeked. It's been something that I have always been drawn to. And again, it's different phases, you have to be different kinds of confidence. There are times where you need to be a peacock or a porcupine. It's fine. You're
That's
just
good.
Like,
I like that. Yeah,
you can be either or.
Yeah.
But you got to, show it off a little bit. And then there are times you don't.
Yeah.
It's really up to us to figure out when, how much you need to turn it up and how much you need to turn it down. But the fact that you can turn it down, that is something like a lot of people don't know and use. Confidence doesn't always have to be loud. It doesn't always have to scream. It just arrives. And that's the best type.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously
you have that. You also have that like quiet confidence.
Thank you. That's very sweet. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I found it really fascinating because when I first came here, and I don't like this term, but people would always be like, oh, you do motivational speaking, which I don't consider myself to do. Because I would think about all the motivational speakers that have come before and they're like loud, they're big, they're like, and I'm like, I'm just a little Indian guy, like, I'm like, that's not my presence. And I don't think that that's the only way to be powerful. It's a way.
No.
And I
if
love,
you move people, it's powerful.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying, that it can be done quietly. But I find it fascinating that you are seeking that, because I think right now when we think about dating in the modern world, when we think about whether it's marriage, any sort of committed monogamous relationship, I think what women and men are looking for, sometimes we're all so confused because there's so many versions of what confidence, strength, attractiveness looks like.
And what could be right for you.
Correct. And what's right for you. But you knew that was right for you because there was something that was guiding you to that. Was that intuition? Was it?
It happened so quick.
Yeah.
Like it was so quick. And I wondered for the first year, I was like, what was it? Because I'm not one to jump in full commitment.
It was like 6 months, right? Yeah.
6 months since we first met, went out on our first date, we were married. Like we were engaged in 2 months or something.
It's amazing.
It was so quick. But there was no part of me that could say no. I was so drawn and compelled by him. And I think that was one of those things was his natural leadership. And that comes from his quiet confidence. Like he would just hold my hand and I felt the need to follow him. I'm usually the person that shows people the way. So it was just very attractive to me to be with someone that is so decisive and is not afraid to show it. And doesn't need to scream off the rooftops. Like what Nick says, he can say it to you on this microphone. He could say it at home. He's just like, that's who he is. And that was very new to me and disarming and charming at the same time.
I love the way you both speak about each other. Like this is so special. I'm like, I'm literally gonna get the 2 clips of you both talking about each other and put them next to each other because it's wonderful. It's so wonderful because it's real. It's not easy. Like I said, it requires a lot of humility, even as what you just said. I'm used to being the leader. I'm used to showing the way, but actually I'm really happy to let someone else lead sometimes.
Yes, that's what every girl wants, is to be with a man competent enough that you will trust them to guide you in the right place. Because usually, women are really good at figuring out and navigating through problems. But like Nick has this innate wisdom that I trust and that I've always trusted. His honesty, I've trusted. And I think that was one of the first things that I was like, yes, you will be great for life. That's it.
That's amazing. That's so good. And I saw your congrats on the variety cover. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And I read the piece before as I was preparing for this, and I just loved how you said in the article, you were like, because when I hear you both, when I've spent time with you both, I've been to your house, I've spent time with you over the years at different events. You see that love, you see the way you communicate, you see it even when I'm speaking to you both here, there's so much genuineness. And then naturally you talked about in the variety cover with the negativity that naturally comes with having a relationship in the public eye. And I love that you said, you're like, I just don't think about it anymore because we've been together for 8 years. It's like, this stuff doesn't matter almost anymore. How hard was it to get to that point, to be able to be like, you know what, now I'm, we've always been good. We're fine. But how long did it take for you to feel I'm not even letting that get to me anymore? I
mean, it's hard. I still will read a comment here or there and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
What did I do to you?
Yeah.
Why be so mean? I don't even know you. I've never met you. You've seen some aspects of my life and decided I might be this horrible person or we're not right together. Why?
Mm.
So it's still sometimes in weak moments will get me, like so many other things, like mean things do. But in general, I think I'm just in a place where I want to focus on the good in my life. And I feel really blessed to have the good that I do. It's not been an easy journey. And to be in a place where, you come out of a storm and the sun is shining and you just kind of like, you take that moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in that moment right now.
Yeah, we like me and Radhi don't obviously have nearly the amount of eyeballs that you guys have on us. But we went through this really interesting period where we'd been together every day during the pandemic. And as soon as the pandemic was over, Radhi was so excited to go back home and see her family, as so many people were. And so Radhi was spending a lot of time in London after the pandemic because she just missed her family. She missed her parents. And I did too, but I have work here. I have my team here. I've set up a life here and I go back and forth, but not as often as she likes to. And it was really fascinating because I get a call from my publicist one day. She goes, Jay, I just got a call from this major publication and they've just been reading on the dark web. I was like, what is the dark web?
Yikes.
They're like, I've been reading on the dark web that people are thinking that you and Radhi are about to, break up and like you're not together anymore and that the pictures that you're posting are old and all this stuff. And I was like, we're in a really good place. Like we're totally happy. Actually, the pandemic was amazing for us because we spent every day together and fell more in love with each other, which was such a blessing to have that. And then we've always had this communication, me and Radhi, where London is such an important part of our identity, our family, our niece and nephew. And so we've always tried to live this LA London life as much as we can.
Not easy.
It's not easy at all.
It's a tough flight.
Yeah, and so Radhi will go back a lot more often. I'll run in and out whenever I can. And it was just fascinating to me that like that was even being talked about. And she was like, yeah, there's loads of people just wondering whether you guys are still together, still in love, whatever. And it was just and I remember having the conversation with Radhi and laughing at it, obviously, because we know what we're doing. But I was like, wow, like where do people even invent this stuff? And then how does it go from we're living in different countries during a certain period of time with context, but you take that to be we don't love each other anymore, don't want to be together. And I was like, wow, like, and like I said, it's nowhere near compared to the eyeballs that you and Nick have on you. So it's just such a fascinating, and I struggled with that, and Radhi struggled with it, where she got to the point where she was like, you know what, I don't want to talk about our relationship publicly anymore. Like that's where she got to. She was like, I just don't want to talk about it because I don't like all these opinions and I don't, it really affected her.
Well, I have a couple of thoughts on how I kind of navigated it.
Yeah.
One is we're living in a time and a period where we get to see and read the opinions that people have of us, right? Like before social media, back in the day, you think the aunties weren't talking in the kitchen? Everyone was talking.
They were definitely, that's brilliant.
Everyone was talking about everything. Good. We just didn't hear about it.
Absolutely.
So nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
It's just how much information we are absorbing. So take that power away, that this is all the same people that would have talked about you guys even 40 years ago if you were in the position that you're in. That's kind of the gig when you become a public person. People will have an opinion on you. So protect your sanity by understanding that this comes with the job. It comes with the territory, right? So that's one. Of course, it can still affect you and, hurt because it comes across your timeline and you're like, why? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the need of it? The second thing that I really strongly believe, it's no one's business, honestly. And that's okay. Like, you share as much as you need to and what feels right. And even within our families, right? Like if you're going for, especially Indian families, everyone's in your business. Everyone wants to know all the things.
Yeah.
But even there, I believe that if it's not your business, I don't need to tell you.
Yeah.
And so protecting ourselves from the cacophony of opinions is really important. And that's just by like, you gotta do the self-talk.
Yeah.
And be like, do I want to react to this? Is this a constructive thought? Like just, you gotta kind of nip it. Yeah, you gotta nip it in the bud and be like, that's not something I need to waste my time on.
Yeah, I think me and Radhi made a pact early where even with the family piece, it was like, we solve our problems together.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we need to communicate with either of our parents, you communicate with your parents, I communicate with mine, because that's the open line of communication that has been there for
it'll
decades.
be honest, and
Exactly.
it'll be, it'll be real.
Yeah.
Whatever your version of that is I think like just the public scrutiny, and it's for everyone now. Like there are comments on everyone's socials, right? Like not just people who are in the public eye.
Totally. Yeah.
Like content creators, and anyone who's out there.
Yes.
You have comments. So it's not just a problem of public people anymore. That's just the nature of the world we're living in.
Correct.
So for everyone who gets mean comments on your comments or on your Instagram or TikTok or whatever, like really recognizing, and maybe young people don't even remember this, but like people always talked.
Yeah.
There's a Hindi song, "Logon ka kaam hai kehna."
Yes.
Log kuch to kahenge.
Yes.
Logon ka kaam hai kehna.
Yes.
Which means people have to say something. So they're constantly going to say something.
Yeah.
And that's just human beings. So like just a pinch of salt sometimes is important while reading that stuff.
Yeah, well said. Good advice. I was thinking I want to shift gears because I know we can talk about Nick the whole podcast. So we'll get back.
Did we?
We'll get back.
My God.
No. We'll get back. He did the same, so it's fine. We'll get back to Nick, and I want to talk about family as well. But I want to shift gears to something you said earlier. You said to me that actually this is the first time where you're actually using agency to be in the choice of what speed you're moving at. And before there was almost this pivot that felt pushed on you or just felt like the way you had to go. And I was reading online about there was a director in Bollywood who was saying that Priyanka was treated badly. She was treated badly in Bollywood. We pushed her out was his language. And I was like, I don't know how that feels when you're at the top, when you've won. Like you're one of the most iconic people we've ever had in the industry in Bollywood, without a doubt. Like celebrated, done every major movie, worked with, every major director, every major person in the industry. To me, it looked like a win, but that's what, people are almost coming out and confessing and feeling like, no, we treated her badly, we pushed her out. How do you feel about that when you hear that?
I have like conflicting thoughts with all of that because I feel like surviving in the movie industry is tough for everyone. It's not an easy place. It's political, it's networky, it's moment driven. If it's the moment, you're the man of the moment or the woman of the moment, and then the moment's gone, it's somebody else's moment. So it's fleeting. So I am pragmatic enough to recognize that. I feel like everybody has their struggles because of their choices. I did feel like I was in a place where I felt cornered, where work was limited. And in order to survive emotionally, mentally, physically, I just needed to move. And that's always been my answer. I'm not someone who stays stagnant. I need movement to solve my problems. And this time it just happened to be across continents,
The hardest thing to do. Yeah.
Completely move, like a completely new country.
Completely, yeah.
But I was talking to you about the universe, right? So I was in this place where I was doing good work, but I kind of didn't see myself, like I told you, I look 5 seconds ahead of me. I'm like always thinking ahead is my nature. So I just didn't see longevity the way I wanted it in my situation at that time. And I'm honest about who I am. So, I was never afraid of living my truth. But that's what it ended up being. I felt cornered. And Anjula, who's our common friend, who's, for people who don't know, now my manager, but at that time she ran Desi Hits, which was a joint venture with Interscope Records, which, shone the light on Indian artists and South Asian artists and brought them over to America. And she saw an old movie of mine at her mom's house. It was called Bluff Master.
Yeah.
And she was like working with Jimmy Iovine at that time. They had just done the Pussycat Dolls version of Jai Ho. Yeah. So there was like that, just cross pollination, I like to use that word, of cultures within music that was happening. And she reached out to me. I heard you can sing. I can carry a tune. with a little bit of help. But not like I used to enjoy it. I used to go into the studio, sing with my friends. You know how in Bollywood movies we have music as a, we have a soundtrack to every movie, and that's usually recorded with, with music producers. And so I used to go in for those sessions just because I loved seeing how music was made. And so sometimes I would take the mic and just sing or whatever. So I had a few songs out there floating around. And I don't know, she got her hands on them and she was like, let's make you a pop star. And because I was feeling, it was like the universe kind of just timed itself together. I was feeling very limited in my work in Hindi movies. I was feeling kind of like I don't have a direction to go on. And this was like an olive branch. And I don't get starstruck, but musicians like get me. Whew. Being able to be on that stage and command with a live microphone so many people is incredible to me. So I was just blown away by, being flown to London and then from there being signed to Universal, from there coming to LA and, being in the studio with will.i.am and Pitbull and just Chainsmokers and work with Red One. And, I met the most incredible people during this 2-year pop star era of mine.
Yeah.
Such a welcome change. It was a breath of fresh air. And this is behind the lens, like what I was feeling. I was feeling like I was drowning and I was suddenly pulled out. And
wow.
I could breathe. And I didn't know if this would stick or not, but I was just breathing. And
wow.
I was breathing in excellent company. I was making music that I didn't know how to make. But, there was faith in something in me. And I have to give credit to both Anjula and Jimmy Iovine for seeing something that I didn't see. I was honestly just breathing at that point and really happy to be given an opportunity to work with some of these incredible artists that I had admired for so long. I mean, I spent my 30th birthday with Bono. How many people can say that? Like, it was just so cool to be in that rarefied air of just artists who make music with a guitar and, songs that come into their mind. And I was just inspired and feeling a sense of being alive creatively and emotionally. I lost my dad within that phase as well, which was a really big hit for me. So it was a tough, period of 5-6 years, a lot of change, a lot of full stops, a lot of leaving feelings and things behind and trying to come out on the other side of it. And I was alone because I'd moved countries. So that was extra layer of tough. I didn't really have a lot of friends. I have a lot of family in America, but everyone's really busy with their lives. So I was bi-coastal between LA and New York. And, hotel rooms get lonely. And so I moved into an apartment and, after the music phase was over, I kind of was like, after 4 songs out there, I was like, I don't know if this is, I'm as good at it as I would like to. And then Jimmy suggested that I find representation in acting. And I did. And that's how it started. I got Quantico, which was
Amazing.
after a bunch of auditions, which was also one of my first auditions in years.
Yeah.
Terrifying in itself, the whole process. Because when I was working in Bollywood, I'd reached a point where, people knew my work.
Totally.
So I didn't, I'd get direct offers. I just, it's so crazy that as actors we do this, and rejection is such a large part of it too. But that first time when I walked into that audition hall and there were all of these girls on a chair and I realized they were all here for the same part, that was a crazy feeling. And
does everyone look similar? Is that the goal, Or was that different because you're doing it here?
It was different for that show because it was written for an American girl, that show, which I clearly wasn't, but I'm an actor. And I was like, yeah, I can study an accent and I went to school here. I'm not unfamiliar with the States.
Of course.
So I, worked on being American because she was an FBI agent and, so I worked a lot on that. I worked with acting coaches. I really wanted to see if I was built for America. Like, because it takes different gears almost for anyone who's familiar with, Bollywood and Hollywood. It's just the industries it's different.
Yeah.
So the first few times for me, I spent like about 6 months in LA. I was also finishing a movie back in India at that time called Bajirao Mastani. So I was flying back and forth a lot. And I just was like, do I have what it takes first and foremost to do that? And which meant kind of erasing my accomplishments up until now when I walked into a room. And it took me a little bit of talking to myself to do that. I was like, okay, what are my choices? My choices are to do limited parts and see what that'll turn out to be like, to do music, which I kind of thought I was mediocre in, or to try and work in a completely new industry, which, you have to start all the way
at the bottom again.
At the bottom again. And that's all right, because the edge that I had is I was not new. So I knew my job.
Yeah.
I knew what it's like to be on a big budget movie. I knew what it's like to be the lead of a part, like
to hold the attention on screen,
or to even stand on your mark, say the lines, know where the lights are, I know the profession, I know my craft. So that's the edge that I had.
Of course, yeah.
Over, like someone newer who was coming into that space. And I think that's what really helped me is I focused on my craft. I focused on the job. I took away the noise of, well, you've done like 50 movies in India or you've been on the cover of this magazine. Why should you like that thing that we do to ourselves, which is, you can get in your own way. I chose to get out of my way.
Wow.
And I don't know which part of my survival helped me do that. I really don't know. It was a really dark period in my life. Moving here, being alone, losing my dad, losing like friendships and, my family. My mom was not here. Nobody. Belonging in a rented apartment. Not sure if I should live in New York or live in Mumbai. Living out of suitcases for for many years. It was just tough. And I don't know, I was like, I need to get out of my way. I need something to give. I need something to work. And it was many, many years of trying to figure out what'll stick, where I just like put my head down and I was like, just do the work. I worked on my scenes. I went in for the audition. I got the job. I continued working on, because that didn't mean that the show gets picked up if you just did the pilot. I continued working on like other things, looking at movies, working with acting coaches, just learning scenes, learning how to speak in the English language. Not speak, but delivering dialogues in the English language. My brain was tuned to improvising in Hindi. I can do that because I'd done so much work in the Hindi language. So it was a pivot of my brain as well to be able to read sides in English and deliver those lines. So I worked with a lot of acting coaches, some amazingly talented people, both in New York and LA, to kind of be able to get more comfortable with that. And I just decided to focus on the work and slowly picked up. And, it took a lot of like smaller parts, figuring out, where I land to now, producing the movies that I work in. So it was a long journey, emotionally traumatic, in many ways personally for me. But I'm happy to be on the other side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you described that period of your life as drowning,
Yeah.
and transitioning away from the industry and then finding air even in the newness of music and how that comes in. I mean, that, and then adding on all the context you just gave us of how hard that time was, whether it's personally with your father, whether it's professionally with new work, new industry,
Just not knowing anyone.
just not knowing anyone, the loneliness that comes with it. I mean, it sounds like you said it in your own words. It's a really dark time
It
to go
was
through.
tough.
Yeah.
It felt really dark, but I think the fact that I could pull myself out of it with the help of, some amazing people that came into my life, like Ange, like Jimmy, like Dana, my team in India, Natasha, like these are people that like really held me together at that time when I didn't have friends and family around me. And, we've all worked together now for 15 to 20 years. But, I was very lucky to have had picked people around me that didn't let me feel the weight and the gravity of what it felt like to me. Because it may not have been the reality, but it felt like that to me. And now, I acknowledge feelings. So this is me acknowledging what I felt those 12, 14 years ago when what are we in 2026? This was 2010, 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
But I felt like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fascinating that we don't necessarily give people the credit they deserve when they're here with us and living on the planet. And, it's a really...
I always think about that so
right?
much.
It's such an interesting human trait.
I always think about that so much. And, I actually started thinking about it after my dad, honestly, because it was such a personal loss for me. And there were so many people that came out for, we called it his celebration ceremony, but it's actually the Chautha, which happens on the fourth day after you lose someone in Hinduism. And so you give the family like 4 days to mourn, and the fourth day, everyone else can start coming in to give their wishes. And there were so many people that celebrated my father and spoke so highly of him. And I was like, why didn't you say that to him when he was here? He would have loved to hear that. And I have started actually making a practice in my life of reaching out to people, just if I think of them, or if I see good work, or someone's on my mind and I haven't been in touch with them for many, many years, I'll just send a text saying, hey, I'm thinking of you. I appreciate you. And it's usually like takes people, they're like, what, you texted me after 10 years. I feel like it heals me every time I think of, seeing someone's achievement, or because I would have wanted that. I would want that for me, and I would want that for, I think everybody deserves to hear that you are appreciated, or that you mean something to someone, or you've done something that moved somebody.
Yeah.
And we should try and do that while people are on this planet. And it just takes a text or a thought. The more you start doing it, it's a butterfly effect of just niceness.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you spoke about your father, because this isn't about doing it for people just in the public eye. It's just the idea of life. Like, this is
not at all in the public eye.
Yeah, this is not a public eye thing.
I'm talking about, like, nobody needs to know this. It's between you and that person.
Yes, correct. Yeah, exactly.
It's not on Instagram.
Yeah, that's why I love what you said about your dad. Like,
it's a text.
Yeah, it's just people need to know while they're here, while they're living, while they're breathing, how you feel about them, and for people to be celebrated and honored while they're here with us. Because, yeah, you see it all the time. Someone passes away and all of a sudden there's a eruption of love and joy, but it's like they weren't experiencing that while they were alive. And what a loss not only for them but for us to even have the opportunity to express that gratitude or notice that about them.
It's such a privilege to be able to express to someone what you feel for them. As a world, as a society, we don't encourage our young or ourselves enough to be able to be honest when you feel something for someone. Just appreciating people. I didn't know that at all when I was younger. Which, again, I guess as you evolve in life. But in my 20s, I was like, my attitude literally was, everyone is doing their job.
Yeah.
So, I'm doing my job. I'm not expecting appreciation. So why should anybody else expect appreciation? It was so tough.
Yeah. That's
And
that hard on
but
yourself.
I guess I was allowing myself to not have the expectation of appreciation because I never got it.
Yes.
So I think my attitude came from protecting myself. Now I understand this. At that time, like even a few years back, I was like that. I was like, I don't expect you to say I did an amazing job, or if my scene is right, I'm not expecting the director to be like, clap for me. So why do I have to do that for people? It was like such a tough like attitude. But I understood why, because, I would not get appreciation. I was navigating this really insane new industry, and I didn't want to have to seek it. So I built this wall where I was like, nobody needs it, but you do. Everyone does. And, now I've understood that it's just, I don't know what that learning was, but I think just appreciating people is just nice. It's just nice.
But I love the self-reflection of it, that again, I think we all go through that phase where you're really blocking something, because you're right, we don't want validation. No one wants to want it.
But we
all kind of like it.
Yeah.
And then you're fighting against that feeling of, why do I want it? I shouldn't want it, and therefore no one else should want it.
Yeah.
But really deep down, we all need it, because I was saying to someone today, like we were talking about the need for usefulness. Like everyone wants to feel useful.
Yeah.
We think people want to feel important or significant or celebrated. And it's like most of us, like good humans who are not narcissists or living in it, we just want to feel useful. And it's when you don't feel useful to someone that you feel valueless and helpless. And
like, did I add something?
Exactly. All we want to do is
bring something to the table.
Yeah.
And without having to ask for it.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to ask, like, do I bring value?
Yeah.
And especially when you're starting out in any job, you're like, if you're told even once that you bring value, it makes you want to do better work.
Correct.
And I think that why I did that to myself was because I didn't know if I would get it, and I didn't want to put myself in a position where I had the expectations and then I was let down.
Of course.
So I just normalized the fact that nobody needs appreciation.
Yeah.
I don't need it. You don't need it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We repeat what we reward.
Yeah.
So if we reward the feeling of, oh, I don't want it, I don't need it, we're going to repeat. Then if we reward someone for putting in effort and doing good work, that person will repeat it, because that's what inspires all of us. I really appreciate you going there on that theme of just how hard that transition was, because I think from the outside you make it look easy.
But like I said, no one's business.
Yeah, no one's business. But
like, it's hard for me to talk about personal struggles because there's just so much hardship in the world. Like, I feel really like even what was hard for me, it's not as hard as what everybody, like, there's so many people going through so much worse. So there is a part of myself that still is hard on myself for
because it's not hard enough.
Yeah, because
your life is not hard enough. Yeah.
You're like, you shouldn't be feeling that way. Don't be silly. Like, but like, everyone has struggles in their lives, and it's tough to talk about it because you're like, what was so hard about that?
Yeah.
Just personally, it was.
Yeah. Not in context or comparison to anyone else. It's acknowledging how you feel. I mean, that seemed like a big transition for you. And when Nick was on the show, he spoke so vulnerably and openly about the birth of your daughter, which was traumatic to say the least, and of course amazing. But in that moment, just how heavy it was and difficult it was just for both of you. And going through that process, I wanted to ask you if you were comfortable sharing from your heart and your words what that experience was like for you.
The whole thing was tough because our journey to Malti itself was really rough. I don't want to get into details because I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it, but it was very hard on me. And she's a miracle baby because she was my only hope at that time to be able to have a baby. So when we were told that she's coming at 27 weeks, I just shut down. I remember I sat in front of a fireplace in our house for I think like 9 hours or something. And for someone who's always so solution oriented, I didn't have a thought in my brain. And Nick was somewhere and he came back and he grabbed me, we loaded the car and our dogs and we drove. It was COVID time. And just the situation under which she was born was so much duress for everyone involved. And it was just really intense. She was purple. And like, we didn't know. The NICU nurses couldn't, like, their little finger was too big for her mouth. How they intubated her was like, I still see that image. And thankfully everything was fine with our surrogate. So we could focus our energy, and I was just numb. I just remember, like, I didn't know what to do or how to be useful in that moment. We went with her to the NICU. One of us was allowed at a time, and she cried the first time, and it was like a cat, like just like that's all we got. My mom flew down, my in-laws flew down, but we were in the hospital, and it was such a personally traumatic time. But somehow, because we were in and out of the hospital, I remember it leaked, and we got a text saying that her birth is gonna be put out by the papers. And I don't want to give credence to who sent us that message or which network it was, but that if we don't, like, they're gonna put it out in 3 hours. So we were kind of forced into announcing her birth, which, because we wanted to hold on to our own narrative of it, but we weren't ready because we didn't know what would happen with her or how she would be. It was 3 months, almost 110 days. We stopped everything. We were in the hospital every day. With her, we did shifts so that she could be on our skin. The nurses said from day 2 of life that we should be doing skin to skin. So Nick would sing to her on his guitar. I used to have this little iPod which played all my mantras, my Mahamrityunjay mantra, my Gayatri mantra, my Om Namah Shivaya, like all of it would play all day inside her crib, just softly. There were a lot of people praying for her. She was very, very desired, very coveted, and treasured because she was so hard. It was so hard, her journey to get to this planet. And she had like 6 blood transfusions. You know, I used to feel like she looked just like Nick and I as a combination, but everyone says that she looked like him. But even in those days, like as soon as we would be switching out, like she would recognize our voices and smile, like just her eyes weren't open, but she would have a little like slight smile. And if you ever meet our daughter, she has the most glorious smile on the planet, like full face laugh. So it was a brutal time, but I think I talk to myself when I'm in tough situations. Once I got out of the stunned nature of it, I realized how afraid she must have been. So I didn't have the privilege of being upset or afraid. I had to show up as her mom, and I had to be tough through it. I had to smile for her. I had to equip myself to take care of a preemie baby and make sure she's the healthiest that she can be. And that's just what my focus turned into. And I was like, it is not about me or him. And this happened like immediately as soon as she was on my chest for the first time at almost 27 and a half weeks, or like 2 or 3 days after. And she was so tiny that her fingers felt like butterflies on me. She was just like this little, 1 pound, 11 ounces. In that moment, I was like, I will go to the ends of the earth to protect you. It's a feeling I have never felt before. And I think every first time parent says that, but it's like your heart is beating outside of your body. And especially with her, because she was so vulnerable. I became a tigress about everything, from her nutrition to, her medication, to her transfusions, to Nick and I, as a team, we didn't have to talk to each other. It was just done. We used to look at one another and, we'd have the diaper bag. We'd have like, tomorrow's her bath day. We'd have the bath, like all the little things, make sure that, she has this much of milk, and just every little thing about her to make sure she gets to that weight and just survives was the only order of business. Everything else took a backseat. And the day we brought her home, she was still so tiny. And I have a big mandir in our house with a big Shivji's murti, who I really am a big Shiv Bhakt. I really believe that, Bhole Baba has guided me through every difficult moment in my life, and I've like sat on his shoulders. And we just as a family sat in front of his vision. And I think that's the first time I really wept. She was still so tiny, but I wept for the grace that she survived, the gratitude that she was home, that she chose us, that we could make this happen where, she could be in this world and have this thriving life. IVF is tough, and everything that contributed to her being on this earth, I was just so grateful for and just relieved. And after that, we had, a big havan for her when she came home, and her naming ceremony, and then it became real, Yeah.
Gosh. I think anyone who hears that, just, so sorry you had to go through that, and sorry that the family had to go through it together as well. And
I was thinking about it, because I saw on your podcast when Nick talked about it, and I knew we would talk about it also. But I was kind of thinking about like why. I've started thinking a lot about the whys in my life. Like how did I navigate that? Because when you're doing it, you just do it, right? You just take your choices. You're not really thinking about the why.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, I like to kind of unpick at that a little bit. And I was unpicking at it, and I guess my choice to have kids at a later stage contributed to this being a really tough journey for me. But if I would have done it earlier, would it have been the wrong time? It wouldn't have been her. So I kind of made my peace with the fact that this journey came from making the right choice for me. And for my biggest flex, honestly, I feel, is I'm living this life with the right guy, with the right father, for this incredible baby that we have. And that was meant to be. And the journey was meant to be. I feel really blessed to be on the other side of it, like I said, but it couldn't have been any other way.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of forgive yourself.
Yeah, I feel like that overthinking brain
Yeah.
of well, if I did it this time, if I could have done it like this, if we did
She wouldn't have had to
she wouldn't
deal
have had to
with
deal with it. Yeah, and then you
what
realize,
she went through, but
and you're like, oh, it would be a different soul.
it would
be
completely be a different person.
and it would
or
have been
different
a different hardship,
circumstances.
different circumstances. Yeah,
Different, like, I don't know what that would have been like. I can't speak to that, whether it would be good, whether it would be bad. It just wouldn't be this.
yeah.
And this is great. So, I can't speak for the parallel lanes
Of
of
course, yeah, but that's what the
the
brain does.
multi-universe
That's what the mind does,
of our
though.
life.
Yeah, that's
So,
what the mind.
like,
the
I always
sliding
try
doors,
to bring
yeah.
back to the present and the gratitude of, our little family and being able to be together.
Yeah, yeah. The mind plays all those games of
Yeah.
the sliding doors and if this then that and shoulda, coulda, woulda, and it's fascinating. I love how much faith in your life is such a central pillar of a stronghold of how you come back to that. And I know that's been there since day one, right, with your family. And
First of all, I think when you grow up in India, it's kind of ingrained in whatever religion you might grow up in. Faith is a big part of Indian spirituality. And, we are a country of multiple religions. So I was very influenced by just faith in general, the multicultural nature of my family as well. My grandmother's Catholic, my Masi is Muslim. We were raised as Hindus, but I went to like a Catholic school. Like, it was just a lot of influences. And to me, faith is basically a relationship with something larger than yourself. And religion is your path to get there. And it's unique to everyone and every journey. But I've had a really, really strong faith in my life since I was a kid. Both my parents did, especially with Lord Shiva. And, we've been Shiv Bhakts from when we were kids. And that's a big pillar of my faith. And it's really gotten me through really scary times and tough times. Like, I kind of just like close my eyes and go into a little box where I'm just talking to my God. Like, I'm just talking to Bhole Baba and I'm like, I say my prayer and I'm saying, you'll get me through it. And it's like I feel safe in the box. It's almost like I'm held and somehow I come through it. And that's what it is, right? Like, faith should feel like a hug, like a safe place. And my faith has always felt like that to me.
Thank you for sharing that. It's as hard as it is to hear, and also to hear how hard it was for all of you. It's inspiring and hope giving, I think, to so many to just hear about how you all came together, how that hope and that fight and that persistence and the shifts that you both did for the months that you both switched for, and probably not even seeing each other much in the changeover because you're trying to give time and the way you both describe her as the miracle baby. It's such a such a beautiful.
Her soul was meant to be here.
Yeah.
And she clawed her way into life.
Yeah.
And I will celebrate that every day. And so will Nick. Like, we celebrate her every day. She literally said that yesterday to me. She's like, Mama, my birthday just doesn't end. And I was like, it doesn't.
That's amazing.
We celebrate you every day.
That's
because
amazing.
somebody came in and got her a present and her birthday's in January.
Yeah.
So she was like, this just doesn't end. And I was like, and it won't.
That's so cute.
Every day
I love
is
that.
your birthday.
I love that. Well, Priyanka, we've reached out to I reached out to Nick to share a letter for you that I could share with you. So I'm going to read it to you.
Did he do
now.
this on the day you did the podcast?
No. In between.
Oh.
In between, not on the day. So I'm going to read it to you from Nick. So this is from Nick to Priyanka. So he says, my John, which I love. I'm like, just seeing him write that is beautiful. Wow.
He wrote
this is the first time I'm reading it too. So I've not read it. I always save it because I don't like reading it before it comes. So I've never read it.
Oh gosh, I'm embarrassed.
So he goes, my John, I'm constantly in awe of the person you are. It's not just the big titles, global icon, leader, force of nature. It's how you show up as a mother, a daughter, a sister, and my wife. The focus and thoughtfulness you bring to every single day is something I try to live up to. Everyone sees the public side of you, but it's who you are in the quiet moments that really floors me. You have this incredible patience and a way of listening that makes people feel completely safe. I've seen people who usually keep their guards way up just let it go all around you, finding a kind of healing they didn't know they needed. One of my favorite qualities about you is that you truly never judge. You just meet people where they're at and always find the good in people. That's a rare thing. You're a leader in every sense. In these last 8 years, I've watched you take on challenges that would have broken most people. Whether it's on a set or navigating the massive life change of moving countries and blending two very different worlds, you do it with a fire that honestly lights me up. You've stayed so true to your roots while adapting with a kindness that seems to never run out. I'm so incredibly proud of you. I know your dad is looking down with that same pride, seeing the woman you continue to be. As you talk with Jay today, and he better have those tissues ready, just know that Multi Marie and I are right there with you. You're the center of our universe. Building this life with you is the greatest honor I have. Knowing we're a team gives me a sense of peace I can't even describe. No matter what life throws at us, I know we can handle it together. I love you endlessly. Nick Jonas.
That's crazy, man. Where are those tissues?
They're next to
The
you.
said promised.
I know, I'm like, I can't believe Nick. Looks like,
All of this
I know, I'm like, Nick, come on. You're like,
knows his wife.
Ah.
Knows what'll get me.
It's beautiful. I love your love. Long may it flourish and continue and thrive. And I'm so glad that Multi Marie has both of your love as well. And I hope that continues as well. You've been so kind. I hope that was I know he says it to you every day probably anyway, but
He is one to say it.
He is one to say it.
He's not one to not say it. And I think he promised me that very early in our engagement, actually. He said when he asked my mom for my hand in marriage, which he did before he even asked me. What a gentleman. But he said, I promised your mom that I'll always keep you happy. And that's going to be my quest, is your happiness. And I'll always tell you how loved you are. And you can say that, like when you just get married.
Yeah, of course.
But to keep up with it and to make sure he tells me in little things. I told you I was, I'm purging my house at the moment because we've just moved back to LA, right? So I'm like switching it out for what's right for us now. So I have this memory drawer in which I keep cards. I love the cards that people write me. I love a handwritten note. So I was pulling out all my cards and they're all mixed up. And all of these letters that Nick has written to me over the years. And I put them all together and I was just reading them. And right from the beginning, he just always told me. And, it's the simplest thing. But tell your loved ones you love them. It makes such a big difference.
Absolutely. Such an important reminder. And especially if you can write that well as well.
Marry a musician.
Yeah, exactly. Priyanka, we now end, you didn't do this last time, we end every episode with these two fun games that we created. One's called Would You Rather and the other one's Gut Reaction.
Okay.
So Would You Rather is first up. So Priyanka Chopra, this is your Would You Rather. Would you rather play the hero or the villain for the rest of your career? In movies, obviously.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love playing a bad guy. But it would get boring for the rest of your life because I don't know how creative I could get with how many bad guys. But I'll say the villain. It's more interesting.
Yeah, the bluff.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get to see you.
Well, I'm not a villain in the
No,
bluff,
you're not. But we get to see you do a lot of crazy action scenes.
Yeah, it's so... This movie, which I've done a lot of work with Amazon Prime, and this is another one of our collaborations. But this movie is at such a pivotal point in my life because my character is a former pirate who was known as Bloody Mary, self-titled. I mean, you can tell why. She was tough and gruesome and based off of like Grace O'Malley from Ireland and many other female pirates that did exist at that time, whose lives were just insane. Like if you read the books, it's like I can't imagine being a female and a pirate at that time. But why this movie really resonated with me is something I said earlier too in the podcast, which is how far would you go to protect your family? How far would you go to protect your children? And this is the story of a mother and a woman who says, "You're not coming for my family." One of the most amazing lines in this movie, which I really deeply resonated with, is, "You come to my home, you threaten my family, and then I kill him." And I say, "Where's my husband? Where is my husband?" Every wife when they're playing golf, isn't it?
I love that. That's so good.
But I
That's so
really,
good.
that's what I love about this movie. It's really fun. It's like a bloody, gory.
The action scenes are insane.
Yeah, it's like I love doing that. It's gory. It's got drama. It's beautifully shot. Based in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
What more could you ask? Our director was humongously talented. Frankie Flowers.
Yeah, it's beautifully shot.
What would you do? How far would you go?
And you've lived through that in your own version of that, so.
And I will continue to.
Yeah.
Like, I would go to the ends of the earth to protect my family.
I saw that in your eye when you said that. I was like, wow, do not mess your eye.
Don't come for my family.
And your eyes are like, Jay, do not. And I'm like, Priyanka, I'm like trying to be family. I'm like, this is like, this is, I saw that in your eye. You're like fully locked in there. And I was like, okay, I'm scared now. All right. Would you rather have to wear your Miss World crown to every major Hollywood premiere for the next year, or have to introduce yourself as Miss World 2000 in every room you enter?
Oh, neither. Oh, no. That's the worst. One should be a Miss World choice and the other one shouldn't be. Neither. Okay. I'm very proud of that achievement for my 18-year-old self at that time, but it's not something I would care to do again.
Okay. Would you rather accidentally send a flirty voice note meant for Nick to your entire production group chat, or accidentally read one of your own romantic texts out loud thinking it was part of the script during a table read?
Well, I wouldn't do that. But I may have even done this. Like, I am notoriously known for sending the wrong messages to the wrong people.
Okay, got it.
So I think it would be funny.
Yeah.
I think it would be hilarious.
Yeah. All right. This one applies to the bluff as well. Would you rather film a brutal stunt sequence in one take, absolutely nail it, but get injured and never be allowed to do your own stunts again? Or play it safe, let a stunt double take over, and always wonder if you could have done it yourself?
I have done enough work with incredible stunt teams to know when I can and when I can't.
Wow.
I'm very, very safe and practical.
Yeah.
I'm not a hero when it comes to set. I don't need to prove a point. I'm a professional. I go to set. I see what I have to do. The bluff especially. In fact, there's a lot of one-take scenes and a lot of injuries that I did get in this movie. But because it's a dramatic performance of a stunt movie, it really required my face in everything. It required me to convey the emotion of what I was feeling while I was in the stunt scenes. So I did a lot of it myself. I was trained by an incredible stunt team. My stunt coordinator and double, Anisha Gibbs, worked with me very, very closely. In fact, we shot a whole year. The first 3 months was Heads of State. While I was filming Heads of State, I was training for the bluff.
That movie. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
It was so fun.
It was so much fun.
So in between shots, we would train the sword fighting sequences on set. So Idris and John would be like, we don't use swords in this movie. But we would be training for the next one. Right after I finished that in France, I flew to Australia 10 days, or 7 days in, and started filming The Bluff, which was for 3 months. So it was just so intense, and you were right in. Training happened while filming.
Wow.
Learning choreography happened while filming. So I would get like a few hours off after finishing a scene, and I would go learn my choreo or in between shots. So it was just like very alive and creative, but I'm very safe. Like, I learned very early in my career that the person doing the stunt, you have to walk your path. Even if your stunt double has checked it for you, you walk your path. You see if there's a nail coming out from somewhere, if you could get injured, if, where you're falling doesn't have like a protrusion. Like, you have to be really practical in order to be able to pull off stunts and stuff like that. You can't be a hero.
I like the pragmatism and the practicality. Very useful.
Can't be a hero.
Great answer. All right, one last one of would you rather, and then we'll do gut reaction. So, would you rather perform? I think I know the answer to this one because I saw you already do this and it was amazing. Would you rather perform one full Jonas Brothers song on stage by yourself?
What?
In front of a sold-out stadium, or open a Jonas Brothers show with a 5-minute stand-up monologue about your relationship.
I'll do the monologue.
You did so good on the roast. The roast is so good. That is hands down still one of my favorite clips of you.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah, please.
Nick wrote my roast.
No. Did he actually? No, don't tell us that. Don't ruin it. It was so good.
But I'm not ruining it. That's our partnership.
Yeah, that's your partnership. But your delivery was brilliant.
Thank you. I mean, he didn't write all of it. He brought in a lot of amazing contributions.
Wow.
He's to an original
he's a good writer
script.
of comedy too. What can't this guy do?
He knows his wife. Like, he wanted to set me up for success. And he was like, you need to lean into this joke. You need to say that. And I was like, no, I don't want to address that. He was like,
so good.
The Instagram thing was all Nick.
It was such a good
where
joke.
He was like, you have the most Instagram followers of all three of us combined. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not saying that on your...
That was so good though.
And he was like, you have to say it. So, you know, he was like, and yeah, that's our partnership where, you know, we want to set each other up for success. And
I love that.
That was such a beautiful moment for me where he just like came up with his own roast.
That's awesome. They were great jokes. They landed so well.
Thank you.
All right, gut reaction. So your instinctual response, because you did the final 5 with us last time. So we made this up for you. The thing I pretend I'm chill about, but I'm not is...
most things. I literally come across as the most chill and most confident, but inside I'm like a duck under the water, but up front you don't see anything. So I'm stressed about most things.
The most unhinged thought I've had this week was...
It's not unhinged, but it's an honest thought.
Yeah.
Just came up actually in your library.
Oh, go on.
So when we first moved into our house, I was filming a lot, and you know, we had people who were doing the interiors and helping us with the interiors of our home. So when I have a library, which is my pride and joy, and so I walked into the library, and the books were color coded, and I was like, "What are you doing? Whose library is color coded?" So your library was color coded. I was like, Jay, do you read your books? Or are they just pretty?
That's so good. That's so
good. Do you actually
good.
read them?
I love it. I'm glad. Thank you for being honest. This is good. I like it. That's good. Well, I have 2. You'll see the one in the house when we go there later today. So that's my bookshelf. That's my pride and joy.
Yeah.
It's all mixed and messed up and everything.
See, that's like
and this was like during Zoom days of pandemic. So it was like everything's
you can
ordered.
Tell.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell.
So funny.
Great answer. The most humbling mum moment I've recently had was...
So being a working mom is tough. I saw my mom being a working mom, and her mom. So I know it's doable. Whenever me or my husband leave, either one of us are with Maltese. If I'm traveling, he's with her. Or we have the grandparents, my in-laws who are beautiful and gracious while I'm doing this press tour there with our daughter, or my mom. But I was packing up and I was leaving for a film shoot. I'm working on an Indian movie called Varanasi in Hyderabad.
Yeah, congrats. So excited for this.
Thank you.
This is huge.
It's
I just want to point out for everyone who doesn't know, it's like, this is the gentleman who made RRR, Rajamouli.
SS Rajamouli.
Who's making Varanasi, and so it's amazing.
This is a great part and an incredible movie and great partners in the movie. So I've had to fly back and forth from Hyderabad like every month because I come back to Malti. I literally, my airline status has gone up because of this one movie. But I was leaving and I was packing up, and before I leave for a trip, we talk about it, and we have this invisible string, which is in her heart and my heart. And, you know, we talk about the fact that mom has gone for like 12 sleeps or 15 sleeps. And so we were having that chat. And whenever she has real feelings, she talks to her babies because she is a mama. And she has little dollies, which are her babies. And so when I was leaving, she was looking at her baby and she says, "I'm such a good mama. I don't leave you and go to work." She's 3.5 that time.
Oh gosh, that's heartbreaking.
So what was the question again? Yeah, that was my
That is the most humbling moment. Wow.
I was like, my toes curled. I was almost about to cancel my flight.
Oh my God.
I was so stressed out. And then she laughed and smiled at me. She knew it was a joke.
Oh.
You know, she jumped on me and I was like, "Don't say that." And she was like, "No, mama, no." Like, she doesn't like getting me or Nick or any of us like upset. She's very sensitive to that. But I was thinking about it the whole flight to Hyderabad. I was like, oh my gosh, trust your child to humble you.
Yeah,
in 1 second.
That is painful. That's heartbreaking. That's not even humbling. That's just
I know.
heartbreaking. I'm like,
so tough.
I know. If I ever have a little girl, I'm going to be wrapped around her finger. That's going to be so.
It's over.
It's so hard.
Because they have that little voice and those eyes.
Yeah.
It's just over.
That's crazy. That's crazy. How does it feel to be going back to India to do a movie again after so many years?
If there was any film to be done, it would have been this. Like, this is the best way of going back into Indian films. I missed it so much. I missed, dancing. I missed the chaos on set. I missed the creativity. And with S.S. Rajamouli, sir, his mind is, and his vision is so far beyond limited imagination that just to be able to see what he's thinking and kind of be the vessel to tell that story is great. My part is amazing. I have like a beautiful graph of ups and downs in the movie. My co-actors are great. It's awesome to be able to work with actors who like know their stuff, arrive on time, like are great to be around, are fun. And, it's been a really, really gratifying journey so far. It's long. He takes a long time to make movies. It's almost been 14 months, but, it's going to be really special. And the journey of it has also been special. In fact, I took Malti to Hyderabad once and she went to the farm and she saw like they have this beautiful farm outside of Hyderabad, which so his wife, his family, they like run themselves, and it was so much fun. She met like calves and saw paddy fields and like ran around, and it was beautiful.
I love it. I'm so excited for you, for the Bluff, for Varanasi, for your family. It's congratulations on it all, and thank you today for just sharing it as it is and what's going on behind the scenes.
What all did I say?
What's happening? What's really going on. You can tell me offline if we got there.
I don't know. I don't like. That's the thing about
you. Just black out.
Yes, when I'm doing an interview, I try not to think about it. But you also like have this amazing innate quality of being able to like get people to talk about tough things without
very sweet
feeling judged or without feeling critiqued. I don't know what'll happen when these clips come out, but while we're on this couch, it's real good.
Oh gosh, well no, my only intention is just that that people get to talk about the things they don't get to talk about anywhere else, and people get to really understand what's going on when we think we know everything. I think we live in a world right now where we think we know what everyone's going through, we think we know what everyone believes, and it's nice to have an opportunity to create space. And I think it's not just creating space for each other, but hopefully this ripples out into people creating space in their families and their friends and amongst each other. It isn't
giving
just
each other benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, some grace and space.
Some goodness. Believing in people's goodness. I used to think, actually, Nick writes this in his letter, but I used to think that was like one of my worst qualities because I'm the worst judge of people. I always see people for the good in them. Like, I don't understand. Like, why would you have a bad agenda?
Yeah, right.
Like, why would you not be...
Radhi's like that too, yeah.
It doesn't make sense in my brain. Like, why would you say something to me that you don't mean? It's so convoluted and exhausting to think about, like... But there are people like that in the world. And as I've navigated, many different countries, you have to... And I'm raising a daughter. Like, I want to be able to equip her to protect herself. And sometimes that kind of transparency or just, oh my gosh, what you're saying is probably what I'm getting is not the right thing because, there are tricky people in the world.
Yeah.
But it's just tough on me. I've just never been able to navigate that very well.
Yeah, it's a good quality as well.
Is it though? It's a little too trusting.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I guess as long as you have good boundaries when you discover something, I think that's.
But the problem is the discovery.
Yeah, the discovery could be terrible. It depends on how.
Or you never discover it.
Or you never discover it.
Because some people are really good at maintaining.
Yes.
like two-faced nature or whatever. Yes, my husband's great
judge
at
of character.
Oh my God, he's the best judge of character.
Yeah.
I don't know why he says that about me. I like can't tell. I'll tell after you show me your cards. Like after someone does something, I'm like, that's sus.
That was
But I cannot tell without that.
Well, you're a great team, great partnership. Priyanka, it's been a joy, truly. It's been such a joy talking to you again. I'm so glad to have you back on after 5 years.
I know, I'm glad to be in the studio.
5 years. Please do not wait 5 years to come back. I hope you come back sooner.
Yes, for sure.
And
I'm glad to be here, actually, in the studio instead of doing it virtually.
Absolutely. You're the best. Congratulations.
Thank you. You too. Oh, thank you. You're doing production now.
Yes.
Coming to my side of the business.
Yeah, we just announced. Yeah. It's so exciting. Having so much fun with it.
Are you?
It's like, when you grow up where I grew up in London, I would never have believed in a million years that I'd ever have the opportunity to do something like this, especially what I thought I'd be when I grew up. And so the fact that I even have the opportunity is such a blessing and such a fortune. So I'm very excited about the projects we're working on. And
so proud of you. I tell everyone navigating just your career, and maybe I'm saying this out of experience, but we are living in an incredible time where you can actually think of the most insane idea and monetize it for everyone. This is not just like for me as an actor. In fact, it's limiting for me as an actor. But like you can, go beyond the medium that you've been given. Like you could be a content creator, you could become a producer, you could write yourself a story and, fund it. You could be enterprising. I tell every person who's navigating this ever-changing world of any any business that you might be in, with AI, there's so much change. Like, be enterprising, be an entrepreneur for yourself. Learn to sell yourself and your strengths, and understand that the end goal might look really large. Like you're working with Netflix and you're producing TV shows. Like that's insane if you tell your 10-year-old self.
Totally, yeah. Even my 20-year-old self.
Or even your 20-year-old self. Yeah. But you're enterprising and you know your strengths, and that's just good business. And to be able to be excited about the opportunity is very humble of you. But I would like to applaud the fact that you've been able to build that road for yourself, and you've been enterprising for yourself, and built yourself into such a strong business. And that's just what I really encourage everyone to think like that for yourself, and dreams we're at a time where it's kind of magical.
Absolutely. Well, it's people like yourself, and even the story you shared today about pivots that may not even be the end point. It may not even be the direction.
Part of the journey.
People like yourself, I think it's really inspiring when you're at the top of your game, you can pivot, try something, go, no, this isn't me, and then move again and win. And it's like that. I think watching people do that, people like yourself, I think have set such a great example for everyone to not, and everyone around you will tell you the opposite, by the way. Like when I wanted to start doing this, everyone was like, Jay, like, your lane, like just do your thing, like know your lane. And I was just like, well, what is my lane? Like I didn't know this existed 10 years ago.
Worst.
It's the worst advice,
Never stay in your lane. That's
yeah.
like the worst advice, because everyone is running so hard to find a lane.
Yeah.
Like when you have something that's unique, which you do about yourself, you can pivot that into anything. Creativity is not limited to like a book. If you're a writer, you could write a screenplay.
Yeah, totally.
You could write a script.
Yeah.
You could turn that writing and problem-solving skill set into production. You could turn production into direct. Like it could. I'm just talking about my field because I just know my field. But, even being able to pivot and navigate within the industry or the medium that is really cool.
Absolutely.
So, to open your mind up for that. Never, ever actually stay in your lane.
Yeah. Well, you've set the standard and you've paved the way and shown a great example. So
thank you.
Happy to get your mentorship and guidance and all the steer and insights you have for me for sure.
Anytime.
Along the way.
So excited for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't wait to hear more about it.
Oh, you're so sweet. If you're feeling inspired by this episode, you won't want to miss my conversation with Wicked's Cynthia Erivo.
We are afraid to let a person go, and we need to be okay with letting people go. We don't know what path people are walking on when they walk into our lives. We might just be a stepping stone in their path, just like stepping stones in their life.